Cereal time, cereal time, cereal time, whoa.
What's up, cereal heads? Welcome back. It's been a while and I've missed you. In this first video back today, we're going to talk about Kellogg's and the recent strike from workers at 4 of their plants across the country. I know, first episode back and we're getting all political, but here's the thing, it's not political. This is bipartisan, and as a channel dedicated to cereal and a union member myself, I can't have this platform and not talk about this issue because it's important. And it will inform the choices of cereals I decide to make videos about and cover in the future on this channel. Now, I understand if you come here just to see boxes and bowls of cereal and you choose to tune out or skip this video, but I sincerely hope you don't. So let's get into it. What happened and what is this all about? A few months ago on October 5th, 1,400 workers at Kellogg's cereal manufacturing plants went on strike. These workers are from the BC TGM union and from the 4 plants that make Kellogg's cereal here in the US: Omaha, Nebraska, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Memphis, Tennessee, and Battle Creek, Michigan. Battle Creek being the home of Kellogg's. Going into the contract negotiations, the union basically had 4 sticking points they were fighting for: keep their pension, keep their retiree healthcare, keep their healthcare benefits, and get rid of 2-tier. We'll get into 2-tier in a second, but those first 3 goals were just to maintain the benefits they already had, just not give away any concessions. And that's kind of crazy that Kellogg's was even asking for concessions from their workers, considering Kellogg's made over $1.7 billion in 2020 and their CEO takes home $11 million annually. Cutting your workers' benefits shouldn't even be an option, especially when these workers have been working really hard, as many essential and frontline workers have, over the past 2 years of the pandemic. And these workers are working 72 to 84-hour work weeks with mandated overtime and a point system that dings you if you take time off. One worker on the picket line said he had worked 180 days in a row, only taking a day off for a holiday when the plant closed down. You'd think as a company you'd want to reward these workers for helping you reap billions in profits instead of nickel and diming them and asking them to take concessions. Now, as I said before, the main sticking point for the union was getting rid of the 2-tier system. Now, the 2-tier contract system promotes equal work for less pay by dividing workers on different pay scales according to their hire date. And this isn't exclusive to Kellogg's. Back in 1983, American Airlines pioneered this 2-tier contract system. And after the 2008 financial crisis, big businesses in this country went to war against organized labor, implementing the 2-track system in industries like trucking, auto, and manufacturing. It's pitched to workers and public as a way to keep companies in business and keep the profits flowing for them. But in reality, it allows them to divide and conquer the union and slowly transition to cheap labor and cut benefits. Now, I won't get too bogged down in policy details and numbers because I'm sure you're already bored at this point and I don't want to put you to sleep. But essentially, Kellogg's wants more lower tier employees and wants to pay less for labor. They tried to lock out their Memphis plant about 6 years ago and replace all the veteran workers. That's just corporate greed, nothing new in this country. But the Kellogg's workers were fighting, hoping to get rid of this 2-tier system. And it's not just the lower tier workers who are complaining about this. The strongest push actually comes from the veteran workers who can see the writing on the wall and don't want to get elbowed out, as well as ensure that the future generations get the same benefits that they receive. Right now, there's a huge pay gap between the 2 tiers, a gap in paid holidays, there's no pension for the lower tiers, they only match your 401ks, there's worse healthcare premiums, no retiree healthcare, etc., etc. So anyway, workers have been on strike, picketing in terrible weather for the past 2 months. People have been boycotting Kellogg's products, as I hope you have too. And so what does Kellogg's do in all this? Do they negotiate in good faith? Of course not. First, they hire replacement workers to try to maintain production, which, as an aside here, don't be a scab. Never cross a picket line and take a job from striking workers. Just don't do it. Also, these replacement workers were making more than lower tier employees and promised full-time work, and Kellogg's was busing them in and providing them housing. They'd rather do what they can to break the union than provide those bonuses to their actual workers. In addition, Kellogg's filed suit to sue the union, claiming that workers in Omaha were blocking the entrance with their picket line. And this little tidbit from Kellogg's social media made me laugh. Apparently, people noticed that Kellogg's had removed their logo from Pop-Tarts boxes. They claimed it was a design choice and definitely not because people were boycotting their products and they were trying to distance their name from certain brands. And finally, most recently in December, Kellogg's threatened to permanently replace all of its striking workers, which is about the ugliest union-busting tactic that you can employ. This resulted in backlash across the political spectrum. As I said before, this isn't a partisan issue. You have progressives on the left like Bernie going to Battle Creek to hold a rally against Kellogg's, standing in solidarity with the workers as he's done his entire political career. You have the centrist or center-right President Biden making a statement saying he's deeply troubled by Kellogg's threat to permanently replace its workers. Even the right-wing uber-rich Republican governor of Nebraska weighed in to say that Kellogg should head back to the bargaining table with its workers. And so Kellogg's did. But they didn't offer much in change from their previous offer, which workers had rejected handily. The difference this time is that workers, exhausted after 2 months on the picket line and with the real fear now of being permanently replaced, gave in and reluctantly agreed to Kellogg's new contract. The new deal doesn't do much to fix the systemic problems of the 2-tier system, The workers will be back at the table 5 years from now trying to renegotiate a new contract, begging Kellogg's for crumbs or cereal dust, while Kellogg's continues to twist the screws and squeeze their workers dry. So where does this leave us? Well, the strike is officially over, so if you want to go back to buying Kellogg's products and cereals, well, in theory, that's fine. Boycotts are used to put pressure on a company, and some will argue that by continuing to boycott the company, you're actually hurting workers who we stood in solidarity with. Because if Kellogg's sales dip, their first move will be to cut labor, which will cost more workers their jobs. They've already cut tons of jobs across all these plants, and they've already moved lots of production to other countries where labor is cheaper. That's ultimately their end goal. So if you want to continue to buy Kellogg's products, hey, do you. For me, it's something I'm personally still wrestling with. Will I continue to buy Kellogg's cereal in the future? I don't know. If I'm being completely honest with myself, the answer is that probably I will. But here's what I won't be doing anymore. I won't be giving this terrible, greedy, union-busting company free promotion on my channel, on my Instagram, my TikTok. I can't in good conscience continue to share or review their new cereals with this small cereal head community here. Now, I have no delusions that this will make a difference or make them rethink their greedy tactics in the future of putting profits over people, but I just don't feel comfortable giving this company free promotion after how they've treated their workers. There are other cereal review channels or cereal Instagram accounts that you can go to if you're desperate to hear about some new lame Wendy's cereal or a new Rice Krispies flavor. I'm gonna continue making videos about new cereals, old classic nostalgic cereals, showing boxes from my collection, etc. But this will probably be the last time you hear me mention Kellogg's on this channel, which is why I made this my first video back, just to be completely clear and transparent of why you won't see certain cereals on this channel in the future. Okay, so that's about it. If you have any questions about the strike or anything else that I can answer, please let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to respond. If you've watched this far, thank you, I appreciate you. Also, if you're a worker in any industry, talk to your coworkers, organize, educate yourself on the important issues. The only way we can make real change is by coming together and using that collective power. As more and more American workers continue to find their voice and fight back, do what you can to support your fellow workers and stand in solidarity with them. Next week, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. Happy holidays. As always, thank you for watching. And until next time, stay crunchy. Sorry guys, looks like this is the end of the road for you.
Cereal time.